Hey guys, my name is KJOS and I have been using the Google Pixel 5a for the past 2 months. I've taken it for runs, I've taken it to parties, I've taken it to work meetings, and of course I've taken it to sleep. It has served me pretty well in that period, but there are a few things that are wrong with it. Now, it's not necessarily bad, but they might be deal breakers for some potential users. And with the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro that is literally days away from being revealed to us, let's revisit this and see if this is worth your hard-earned money in 2021. And if you love videos like this, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that like button. And without taking too much of your time, let's get this party started. The Pixel 5a's body and form factor is what we're accustomed to by now. This design is a staple from Google and has been this way since the Pixel 4 with a few iterations down the line. With the 5a, it is more of the same. It has the same square camera bump on the left side, the fingerprint scanner in the middle, the speaker grill at the bottom, the letter G also at the bottom, the very clicky and distinctive power button, and because it's an A-series device, they added a headphone jack. While I have sort of moved on from the headphone jack, I found myself using it more and more often than connecting to my Bluetooth headphones. The Pixel 5a comes in this color, the only color available if you want to order one. Before this launched, I hoped for a few brighter colors, but this green one is what we got at the end of the day. In terms of its weight, there is a noticeable difference between this and the older Pixel 5 thanks to the metal unibody. It may be heavier, but this allows for a better grip on the phones with its sides. This is the only phone that I have used in the last couple of years without a case nor a screen protector. It has held up pretty well thanks to the aluminum frame and back. Now it has fallen on many floors from concrete floors to wooden floors, and it has held up pretty well with a few scratches. Now don't quote me on this, I may just have been lucky enough to have a phone that falls and still maintains its beauty. Now, this complements its tall height depending on who you're asking. The 5a comes in at 6.34 inches. And when I reviewed this about 2 months ago, I mentioned how I did not like tall phones and wanted to go back to the Pixel 5. Well, when I did that, I sort of missed the tallness of the Pixel 5a and switched almost immediately. This has definitely geared me up towards the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro. A huge letdown for some people, but the Pixel 5a does not support wireless charging, so the best thing for you now is to get wireless chargers, which is the best thing if you ask me. Also, I'll be doing a first impressions, a review and comparison videos for the Pixel 6 and other phones this month, so make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see that. With a 6.3-inch display, there is more real estate to deal with, and this allows for a better viewing experience while watching videos, playing games and scrolling through social media. And speaking of scrolling through, the Pixel 5a does not have a 90Hz refresh rate. Now during my initial testing, this kind of bothered me. I missed the 90Hz on the Pixel 5, but as time went by, I really did not care for it, nor did it deter my experience, because I am still daily driving this phone every day and probably won't change it till the Pixel 6 Pro comes out. Don't get me wrong though, having a high refresh rate on your phone is pretty dope, but it should not be a reason to choose or not to choose a phone because it doesn't have it, especially when it ticks every other box on what you're looking for. Okay, the display on the 5a is an OLED panel with HDR, which makes colors especially black richer and darker. Now when I got the phone, I noticed these green or red lines in the display and it really bothered me. And I think I was the only one that had this issue. But since I moved to Android 12 beta and Material U is slowly taking over the phone, those lines have disappeared. So great on Google for fixing that issue. The bezels on this are symmetrical with the screen to body ratio being 85%, so that is pretty good and is aesthetically pleasing just to look at overall. Even with no 90Hz on the 5a, Google still gave the phone a battery upgrade to about 4,680 mAh of battery. I consistently get 7 to 8 hours of screen on time and about 16 to 17 hours of total battery life, which is kind of crazy. Now, when I leave my house with 50% battery, I am confident that it can take me through the night and then some. Now, I'm not really a gaming person, but I use this phone for a number of things. So from work, I'm scrolling on my social media, and that is Twitter or WhatsApp, or listening to music on Spotify or YouTube Music, or taking routes through Google Maps, connecting it to my smartwatch, and just using a plethora of other apps. I realize the way I use my phone is most likely very different from the average user. So if I can have 7 to 8 hours of screen on time, I'm almost certain most people can have more, probably making this a 2-day phone for conservative users. Now, charging for the 5a is pretty standard. With the 18-watt charger that comes in the box, it takes about an hour and a half for the phone to get to 100%. With the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro out very soon, there are rumors that it will not come with a charger in the box, following Apple's footsteps in saving the planet and the environment. Almost all phones except an iPhone all have USB-C chargers. However, they should make the option available for us if we want it. For me, I have about 5 USB-C chargers and I only use about 3 of them, so it only makes sense. Android 12 Material U is gold. I absolutely love the redesign and revamp strategy they have implemented for Android 12 and the Pixel devices. From customizable widgets that have been revamped partly thanks to the hype Apple generated with iOS 14, to the wallpapers that change the entire look and feel of your phone depending on the color. It has a new lock screen redesign that makes the clock font a lot bigger and richer. Honestly, it is a joy to have, and I cannot wait to test Android 12 Material U on the Pixel 6 Pro. Also, I'll be doing an in-depth review of Android 12 on the Pixel 6 Pro, so stay tuned for that. But for the Pixel 5a, Android 12 Material U isn't really the best in terms of performance. While it's okay, it kind of hinders the phone in terms of how I open apps or how I interact with apps. I have so many apps that have crashed in the past and some that don't even open at all. For example, my YouTube Studio app crashes a lot since the first day I installed Android 12 till now. Moving on to the cameras, the Pixel 5a has 3 cameras on the back: a 12 megapixel wide-angle lens, a 60 megapixel ultra-wide lens, and an 8 megapixel selfie camera. Over the last 2 months, it is what we have come to expect from these Google cameras. The main wide-angle lens will give you the best point and shoot photos in a heartbeat without focusing or adjusting the brightness around the picture. The color accuracy is pretty nailed on too. I have taken several pictures in the past and it is usually one take. Now, ultra-wide, like I always say, is a decent addition that I do not necessarily use. Honestly, in the last 2 months, I have used this about 3 times, and that's for my initial impressions of the Pixel 5a and my comparison with the Pixel 4a. I love portrait mode. The background blur to the subject blur is great, and there is a great attention to detail. The selfie camera on the 5a is kind of okay. With the great lighting conditions, the picture comes out pretty well, but with low lighting and even night mode, it sort of makes me look soft, and I'm not really a fan of that, but it's pretty decent, especially when you factor in the price. Video recording on the 5a is pretty standard. It shoots 4K footage at 30 and 60 frames per second, but shooting at 4K 60 gets the phone to overheat very quickly, like 5 minutes recording time and the notification pops up. For the price of $449 USD, the Pixel 5a is worthy of your time. It has a lot going for it, especially when you realize that it has one of the best cameras on a phone at that price point, and you also get to experience that Google software with Android 12 and Material U. So if you're on a budget and you're looking for an inexpensive phone that ticks all the boxes of a great or decent flagship, then the Pixel 5a is worthy of your time. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm curious to know, do you agree with my thoughts? And with the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro coming out in a couple of days, what features are you hyped for the most? Comment below and let me know. And also, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't, and also like this video if you also liked what you saw. My name is KJOS, and I will catch you in the next one where we talk all things tech.